Hello everyone, it's lovely to be with you again, and today I would just like to give you a quick rundown on the Crop-a-Dile. It's such a useful tool to have in your box of tools, and really, one looks at the investment that one has to make in terms of it, because it's not cheap, but it is a very worthwhile thing. So I thought I'd just share with you my feelings on it, give you some information, just so that you're a little bit more equipped to make a decision if you're still sitting on the fence as to about whether it's a good investment or not. First of all, when I chose my Crop-a-Dile, I chose to purchase one that had a little carry case. So my little Crop-a-Dile fits inside here, and I just need to flip that over like that. So it's got a nice little storage box, and it comes with some eyelets as well. So the first thing that you'll notice about the Crop-a-Dile is that it comes in a locked position to fit in the box. And if you have a look over here, you'll see a little button on the side. If you give the handles a gentle squeeze and you press that down, you'll hear a click. And when you open it, this area here opens up. So it is a very nice storage feature. The second thing that you'll notice here is that there are a lot of markings on the sides. This one has got centimeters, this one has inches. It says 1/8 of an inch here. If I flip it over, I've got centimeters and inches, and this one says 3/16 of an inch. You'll also notice here that there are arrows, and this one shows the top where you would put an eyelet in, and this one shows the base. But if I had to turn this over again, you'll see that the top is on the opposite side and the base is on that side. So let's talk about what all this means for you. You'll notice too that I've got a little hole here. That's a small hole, that's the 1/16, and then I've got a larger hole here, that's the 3/16 of an inch. So in your little instruction booklet which comes in your box, you will see that it has a little table here of the cube chart setting, and we'll talk about the cubes. And then it's got a little diagram here of the correct ways to actually place your eyelets and your washers in. So you can do two different things here. You can punch holes and you can set eyelets. So this gives you multi-purposes. So the first thing that you're wanting to look at is what your settings are going to be. So if you're wanting to punch holes and you're wanting to use the larger punch hole, which is that one there, and these are on the sides on either side, you were able to set the depth of your hole. So if I wanted my hole to be here and that much of my card or plastic or thin metal to stick out, then that's the depth I would set it. And this little stopper can be moved up and down so that you can create a uniform size if you were doing multiples of the same thing. The same is on this side here. I can slide this little notch backwards and forwards so that I can adjust the settings there. Alright, so that would be the first thing with the holes. The second thing that you'll notice here is that there's a little protruding bit here, which is almost like a little metal tube. And if I look on the other side here, there's a little bump. And these are for setting your eyelets in and your washers if you're going to use them. So some people call them grommets, and you'll find that you can order all sorts of things. The We Are Memory Keepers are very nicely made, eyelets and that, but I have used other ones and they do work. Sometimes they're a little bit snug. So what we're wanting to make sure is that we've got the correct settings here. So if we are looking at the top here and you look quite closely here, you'll see that on this one there's a little letter D, and I'm able to adjust this by pulling this little block out and turning it, and then if I push it over to the other side and slide it back in. Oh, what has this one done now? Sorry, it seemed to have slipped out of place there for a minute. There we go. And I slide it to the other side. You'll see that there's a little B, and then the one that I had originally is on the opposite side, and if I give it a little push, it's going to lock into place. So that would be for the smaller eyelets, the 1/16. And then if I'm going to pull it out and I want to set the larger one, I'm going to rotate this little block to the other side. Now you'll see that the small little protruding part, little tube, is facing inwards. I'm going to lock that in, and now I have the larger one. The same goes here. If you have a look here, you'll see that you've got a lot of little numbers, and the numbers correspond with what you're going to do. So if I refer back to my chart here, if I wanted to set a 3/16 eyelet, I would have to have the top, which is the one that's got the little tube, at A on the block, and the bottom at number 1. So you can see that they've used letters and numbers so that you don't get confused. So let's say I'm going to use a 3/16. I'm going to set the top to A, and I want the bottom, which is that little concave bit, at 1. So I can make sure here that if I have a look back at this, this is on A at the top here, and you can see that in the corner. So I'm just going to rotate that so it faces inwards, and then I want the bottom to be on 1. So I'm going to pull that out and have a look, and you'll see here that there's a letter 1, and I'm going to rotate that so it faces the little tube, and I'm going to lock that in place. So that is now for my large 3/16 hole. So let's set one of those in place. I have here just a piece of embellishment that I've made. I'm going to make this into a little tag, and I'm looking to punch it with my 3/16 of an inch. So I'm going to just choose how far I want it to be in, and I'm going to punch my hole, which has come out really nice and clean. Now the next thing I'm going to do is going to put my little eyelet into that hole, and these are snug, so you want to just give it a little press so that it fits in, and you can see here at the moment that the tube is sticking out the back. It's not doing too well. Now this is what you really want to know, and it's important. You need to put this tubular part, which might be on your right or it might be on your left, depending on which way you're holding your Crop-a-Dile. You want to put that so that it slides into the hole of the grommet, and you can see here how it fits in nicely up against the edge. And then all you're going to do is give it a gentle but firm squeeze, and you will feel the metal collapsing underneath at the base. And now I've set that in place, and there's my little closure. If you are anxious and you're new at this, you might not give it a firm enough squeeze to begin with, so you might need to go back and redo it. But all you're wanting to remember is set the tube part into the hole and press down onto the flat base and give it a little squeeze. Okay, so that's all done now, and you've got a nice neat little closure, and all that remains is that you need to put your tag in. Now what if we wanted to do a smaller hole, which is this one here, and we're going to do the settings here. We would go come back to our little chart, and we would look at 1/8, so we need to have the top at C and the bottom at 3. Excuse me. So the top is being where the little tubes are. We want to go to number C, which is this one here. If you look in the corner there, push that through so that it's facing inwards, and then the bottom was number 4. So we're going to lift that out, rotate your block. Oh, excuse me, I've got a little tickle in my throat. So I've got number 4, which is this copper one, and I just need to pull my block out, make it face forward so that it's facing that little tube, like so. So now I'm going to take my small little hole, which is this one here. It's the 1/8 hole. I've got another little tag that I've made here, and I'm going to, which way was it around? It was this way around that I wanted to do it. I'm going to just put my hole in here. Now that's a bit tight, so I'm going to slide that back so I've got a bit more space. I don't want it too close to the edge. About there. So I've got a nice neat little hole now. I'm going to use a little white eyelet, and I'm just going to pop that into place. Whoopsie. Where has that one gone? Okay, so sometimes it doesn't want to go in that easily, and you've just got to be pretty firm with it like you would anything else. Just make sure that you press it through. There we go. It was just, I had a bit of stitching there, so that was a bit difficult. Remember again, you're wanting the little point, the little tube, to go through the eyelet so that you've got the rounded section on the base, and you can see that that is quite clearly going through, and I'm going to give it a gentle but firm squeeze, and you can hear the pressure, and that's nicely set in. So all that remains now is that when you're finished with your tool, you can see where the lock button is. It will be sticking out depending on which way you're holding it, and you're just going to gently put your hands over the handles, squeeze them together, press your little lock button so that that's now nicely and neatly locked, and then you're going to be able to pop that back into your case. And I must say, I love, oopsie, it only goes in one way because of the size of the hole punches. But make sure that you keep your little pamphlet here, because that will help you with your settings. and then the little box folds up very neatly. You've got little tabs on the side that go over your Crop-a-Dile, and how neat is that little storage box? Really nice and neat. So there you go. Have lovely little ephemera made in no time at all. Very, very nice stable holes for your tags, and I'm very happy with my purchase. So it is a bit expensive, but I'm very, very happy with it, and I would recommend it. Bye for now.